Phil McGann of Claritude Financial Planning. Is that something that a lot of your clients come to you for advice on, how to save money?
That's the only thing they came to me for.
I didn't think anyone was saving money anymore. I thought we were spending money everywhere.
There's lots of spending going on, but obviously a real basis of any clever plan is to save some money.
Have some savings. And the question is, how? How does one save? Well, I've seen all this stuff. That was accidental. Stuff about cash stuffing.
Cash stuffing.
What on earth is this all about?
It is a thing. Look, for some of your older listeners, we've heard of this before. It's the old envelope system. Basically, the idea that many, many years ago that you'd actually get paid in cash, you'd take money out and you'd actually put it in different envelopes and say, well, this is for the rent and this is for the groceries, petrol, that sort of idea.
I mean, that makes sense back in the day when you're getting paid in cash.
Correct. Now, what it is these days, where the term comes from, is actually sell you, or you can actually buy online, wallets that actually have little plastic sleeves and you actually stuff the money into the little compartment. So that's where the
still
term
physical cash, cold, hard cash.
Now, the reason it's an idea that's sort of probably come back around is that a lot of people these days are so used, I'm used to it, you're used to it. You go to buy your coffee or a lunch or anything at the stores and you use your phone, you use your watch, you use your card.
Yeah, you're
tap
tapping,
and go,
aren't you?
you go. And you never actually see the money that you're spending out.
And that does bother me. That does bother me. There's a part of me that thinks psychologically I have a stronger connection to the spending, the outgoing, if I have that cash in my hand and I physically see the transaction taking place.
So it's a real psychological thing. Basically, when you're paying cash out for something, it's almost like your brain saying, well, you're losing money. You're actually going, if you just tap and go, well, you don't know how much it really cost. And, well, you do, but you don't. And you don't sort of think of it that way, that you're actually spending something.
Conversely, when you see a nice little fat little wallet filled up with cash, then you might look at it and you think, oh, well done. And you don't want to touch it because you want it to stay looking healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're actually going to spend something, even if you're going to the petrol station, it costs you $140 to fill the car up, and you're spending money out, and you think, my goodness, that's a lot of money. What's going on?
The way you're talking about this cash stuffing makes me think you support it, Phil McGann of Claritude Financial Planning. Do you?
Oh, look, I'm not a huge fan. Now, I can see the psychological benefit of it. All right. Now, the drama with it is that if you actually went to the nth degree and actually had all your cash in your wallet as you're wandering around, well, there's a big risk there of losing your wallet, getting someone to knock you on the head and taking your money, that sort of idea. So there's some risk of that. But also, if you have too much cash in cash rather than in a bank account, you may be losing out on interest, if particularly interest rates on even savings accounts are 4.5% these days. If you have money in an offset against a mortgage, you're probably getting about 6%. So any money that you actually have physically in cash is not offsetting any mortgage or earning any interest. So you're potentially losing a little bit that way. Is that overweighed by the psychological benefit of, I'm not going to spend as much money and I'll keep to a budget?
Yeah.
So it's really a horses for courses sort of thing. I do feel. Now, so I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can see a lot of people would be and say, this is a good idea. It works for me. So again, it's for individuals.
5 minutes to 3. You're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. My name's Kat, and Phil McGann is with you, financial planner. Just a reminder, of course, that any advice offered is very general in nature, and you should seek out your own personalised individual advice. So if we're interested here in saving money, I can see where you're coming from. You were talking about massive, sizable sums of money. You want that working. If we're talking maybe about maximising your sort of weekly household budget, the money that you've allocated to cover the running costs of a household for a week.
Correct.
Maybe the physical cash extraction from a machine and stuffing in envelopes could work.
That's reasonable, because then you think, I need to spend money on groceries, I need to spend transportation costs, petrol, that sort of thing. So it might add up to X amount for the week. Divide it up in 5 or 6 categories. That's probably good. They're the things that you are a bit more discretionary, that you go and buy your 3 lattes a day and you think, I've got to spend money on this. Hold on, I'll only get 2.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Our local latte shop doesn't take cash.
There you go. Well, that's the other thing. Maybe you should find another latte shop.
Right. And then if there's a barrier, then you're like, well, do I really need that latte?
Correct. Do you really need it? That sort of idea. So that sort of scenario is trying to save money. And the idea is at the end of the week or the month, you see all the envelopes decreasing, because they're usually clear plastic, so you can see more money in one. And then as you go down to the end of the week, whatever you've got left over goes into the savings account.
Oh, not the party account.
Maybe, well,
Maybe.
maybe not.
No,
So you've got to have it.
But I'm also just thinking again about kids' pocket money. Could you see there being some merit in this to help sort of teach basic financial literacy skills there, Phil?
And that's another thing as well, because obviously that's a real visual thing for children. If all you're doing is putting money into your child's bank account and they're not actually physically getting something for the jobs you're doing around home, they don't see the connection, do they? And all they're doing is, I've got to do the job, but there's no real connect between the money they're getting and things that they go to physically exert to achieve it. That sort of idea. This is a really big thing, and I'd encourage the listeners to search up on social media and TikTok and everything. It's everywhere. It's just a real thing, which is unusual given the younger demographic that tend to sort of use those social media. And this is a bit of an older school scenario.
I guess it tells you that people today realise cost of living is up, looking for things to do to address it.
Yeah, it's just something a bit different and something worthwhile considering. It's not for everyone, and there's some pitfalls into, as I said, about the theft and the loss of cash and no interest on the funds. But psychologically, it could be very beneficial for some people if that's the way you are hardwired.
Phil McGann, thank you very much on ABC Radio Brisbane.